Oh, every once in a while we have to make a pony video, right? It has to happen because you get some of the dumbest people out there, like IGN, like Nibs, who decide that they want to show to the world that they have a sophisticated intellect when they're actually pretty darn stupid. I mean, they write essays in a way so people don't actually read them, and then they say, well, you didn't read my wall of text, which only had like, 2 lines of actual anything worth reading. But and they kind of pull away with that, and they try to like wear a suit as well to try to make themselves look a bit more professional. But before we get to Nibs, because I'm gonna tear that person apart in a minute, let's get to IGN. Because IGN have decided that 2024, they're going to come out fighting, and they're going to come out showing just how dumb and stupid they really are. And decided that 2024 was going to be the year of redemption for them, where they were going to push it just that bit harder. And they go with, of course, this. Xbox finally has some first-party games coming this year, and it surprisingly looks more promising than the PS5's 2024 offerings. And, when you look at what they had in 2023 as a first-party game, they had one Spider-Man, which was pretty average, right? I know it got in the 90s, and we've already discussed why that happened, because of reasons that I'm not going to get into now because I can't be bothered. Actually, you know what? I am going to get into it. 2/3 of that game was pretty average and below par. It's something I said in my review as well. But the final third was pretty damn good. And you usually remember the final third of anything you do. You don't remember what happened in the first 20 hours. That last 5 hours is what sticks to your head and is the most memorable. And it was memorable. The Venom part, the Kraven fight, everything there was just really well done. But it was only in the final third, if not the final third, maybe the final quarter. There were a lot of scenes in that game that were just plain annoying, frustrating, and, it felt like you were being punished for not doing the side quests. So there was a lot of things wrong with Spider-Man. But, the final third or the final quarter actually pulled through, and it actually, is what sticks to you. And that's where people have those rose-tinted glances, and they judge a game based on the final run into the actual game. But IGN say that Xbox finally has some first-party games coming this year, and they have already been community noted. In 2023, Xbox released Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall, Minecraft Legends, Forza Motorsport, Starfield, and updates for their live service games. They released a lot of games in the first year, but apparently none of those were first party. I think Xbox had 6 first party games into 2023. I mean, they're just getting completely ratioed now by everyone. Peter Ovo ratioed them. At community notes, Xbox had more first party games than PlayStation in 2023, namely Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall, Starfield, Forza Motorsport. It doesn't matter how good these games were. The fact is they had more. They had more. And as you can see here, he's also ratioed them. This information is false and misleading. Xbox had so. I mean, everyone knows. I even tagged what's his name, Destin from IGN, to show this is the problem that people have with IGN. The whole tax thing that came out last year that was doing the rounds when we went for that whole tax era. This is the reason, because they just spread lies. You can see Stein here, right? Starfield, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Minecraft Legends, Redfall. Like, none of these counted as a game in 2023? None of these? PlayStation had no first party, but they were leading the pack because they had Spider-Man. But, as you can see here, multiple posts. A Microsoft document has confirmed that Elder Scrolls 6 will skip PS5 and only launch on Xbox and PC. How many times did they post this? Multiple times. As a first party year, they didn't do too bad. 2021, they had Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, Flight Sim. 2022, they had Pentiment and Grounded, albeit it was, really weak, but they still had 2. 2023, they had, we didn't even put Killer Instinct in there or Age of Empires. And again, this isn't even included the expansions to Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. it's really disappointing to see IGN release an article like this. I'm really happy that they got community noted, and it's really good to see that, you know, people are now starting, you know, at least, especially with the community notes, you know, they are now being shamed into basically lying and engagement farming for clicks. I mean, that's what they're doing here, and it's pretty disgusting, honestly. And I'd love to see someone from IGN come out and try and defend this. Obviously, they won't. They would never do that because, God forbid, that's going to be, you know, something that they can't do. But, you know, it's a... it's awful. It's really awful. Absolutely just below belt, right? To come out with some shit like this. Xbox finally has some first party games coming this year. So what the hell did they have last year? You know, it's like Starfield turning on again. Am I a joke to you? Is that what IGN think? That Starfield was a joke? I mean, I know that they wanted to ridicule it and smash it to pieces with the 7 out of 10. And a lot of that now seems to be making sense because they're kind of trying to erase it from memory so they can, you know, go back onto their pro PlayStation ways. It's so stupid. Unbelievable. You've got Cloberl over here. The ignorance is quite simply getting disgusting at this point. These are all the games that came out over, I think, last year. Yeah, these are all, you know, through expansions and updates. I mean, Grounded actually got an official release last year. It was early access up until that point, but it actually got, I think, we also got GoldenEye last year. So we've got you know, this isn't a small number of games landing on the console as first-party titles. Sure, some of them, like Age of Empires, has been ported over, but it was never available. Halo got multiple seasonal updates. They're still releases. It's just... I don't know. This just blows my mind at how IGN can do this. And then you've got people trying to defend them. Oh, but it's their opinion. That's not an opinion. What they're stating is a factual statement. That's not an opinionated statement. It's what they're stating there is an incorrect factual statement. Because, you know, the fact that they got community noted to the point where they got shut down and they are getting ratioed by a bunch of people just showed you how honestly stupid what they said actually is. But then you've got this over here. You've got Nate the Hate, who's the one that actually came out with the whole Xbox is going to be giving a first party game to a third party platform. He also came out and said that Persona 6 is going to be on the PlayStation 5, as you know, there's going to be PS5 exclusivity behind it. Sega has already said that, and this is where it is here, in the entertainment contents business, mainly the consumer area, we promised a pillar strategy which focuses on multi-platform rollout and simultaneous global launch of major titles such as Sonic the Hedgehog series, Persona series. And they did actually, and Like a Dragon series and others. And they did actually say that Persona 5 being released at the same time globally actually showed them a much more higher net result, and they actually hit the sales targets that they were hoping to hit. Now, with games like Persona 4, which released staggered, you know, on the PS Vita, and then it was on the PlayStation, and then it went over to Xbox, that staggered release actually hurt the game because people that wanted to buy it or were willing to buy it at the time and couldn't basically gave up on the game and just skipped it entirely. Now where it's at with Persona 5, they actually saw a real positive change in selling numbers. Who would have thought that if you release a game simultaneously at the same time on all platforms, that the game will actually sell much better than it being staggered? Mind blown. But, you know, Sega have said, as well as Atlas, that with Persona 6, it's going to be a universal rollout. Good stuff. So whether Nate the Hate is actually even on point with this, because apparently people in the industry have said it, and you know, what's his name? Colt Eastwood also said the same thing, that he's also heard PlayStation 5 builds of certain games being made or are ready, but that really still doesn't say much because they could have been partly built from before, but when Microsoft moved in and told to stop it. So we don't really know anything really about that, but it does put a little bit of shade on this whole Nate the Hate and Microsoft pushing games. We're still awaiting Microsoft to make that confirmation real, but we'll soon find out. Then, of course, we have this guy, Nib, who says he's not a pony, but he is a pony. He's pretty much as of a pony as Reforge is. He decided to post this whole thing here, basically TLDR. People were saying, why don't you port, Helldivers 2 to Xbox? You'll get more sales. You'll get more players playing. He said, no, you won't get more players because it costs more money and all this and all that. But if you post it from Xbox to PlayStation, it's actually, you're going to get more money and it's not going to cost you much to port it. So you can see how it's one rule for one and one rule for the other. And then they started going bullshit into the whole number of Game Pass subscription sales and stuff like that. And, during the leaked documents where Microsoft accidentally leaked their own documents stupidly, there was a slide in there that said that Game Pass had hit 44 million. Now, I've looked and I couldn't find it. I have actually posted it on Twitter. I've gone back about 3 months. I couldn't find it. And I'm not going to waste my time looking for it. I know it's there. But I decided that, you know what? I'm going to go through another approach and get that information another way. And that's exactly what I did, right? So I went over here and I got this information. Number of Xbox gaming subscriptions on console worldwide as of April 2022 by service. And this is Game Pass. So Xbox Game Pass was at 21.9 million. And Xbox Live Gold, which is now Xbox Core, was at 11.7 million. Now, these numbers track because this is what they were. Now, that is 33.6 million. Almost 34 million, which is what it says here. Now, as we know, PC Game Pass was actually really successful in the fact that it had 15 million subscribers, as we can see here. Partnered with the creative directors of Bethesda and Xbox Studios to pilot new growth ideas, making it easier for over 15 million PC players to enjoy Game Pass. Now, that's not part of that thing. And that's excluding those numbers. And we know that 15 million has been touted for PC a number of times now. So correct me if I'm wrong here, right? But if this says excluding PC Game Pass and it's at 34 million, and then we know that at the time of that post, PC Game Pass was on 10-15 million, would my numbers of around 44 million actually make sense? So I'll give you the maths. 33.6 million plus 10 to 15 million. Now, I'm going to put it on the low end of 10 million, right? I said 44. Almost 34 million plus 10. But now the goalposts are moving because I can't find that particular slide because they've been scrubbed off pretty much everywhere that I can think of. But now he's saying, oh, well, you didn't come back with that 44 million slide, and I don't care that you're showing me this as proof. I don't want to see that. That is pretty much what he's saying, right? I've proven to him here that Xbox Game Pass has a plethora of Game Pass subscriptions. Now, granted, 11.7 million of those have been, integrated into it through Xbox Live and renamed into Core. But Xbox Live Gold is no different to PS Plus, where the PlayStation Plus subscription for PS4 and PS5 combined is at 71%. That is Xbox, PlayStation Extras. 71% of PlayStation users are on PlayStation Essentials. A very small number is on Extras, and even smaller is on Premium. But can you imagine? 71% of their subscribers are on Essentials, the cheapest one. So if you can count that in your subscription numbers, then you can count this as well, right? Now, he also made the claim that those subscription numbers are stagnating, right? How do we know that they're stagnating? We haven't seen Game Pass updates, or we haven't seen PlayStation Plus updates for the past year, 18 months, 2 years since they stopped reporting. So how do we actually know where they are? Now, normally people stop reporting numbers for multiple different reasons. Could be because the numbers are dropping, which is why Sony originally actually stopped reporting those numbers because they saw a sharp dip. But at the end of the day, if they're not reporting the numbers, how can you say it's stagnating? And when I've asked, where's your proof? He goes, well, if you look 2-3 years back, the numbers weren't moving much from 41 to 45 million. I don't care about 5 years ago or back in 200 BC. I'm talking about where is your proof right now? But if you look back to 200 BC, you will see that the numbers weren't moving very much. But where's your numbers and your proof now? If you look back to 200... Okay, I give up. I give up. You know what? What they need is a special dose of this. Because PlayStation greatness, Spider-Man 2, because apparently it sold phenomenally well. The MAUs for Spider-Man apparently are all over the place at the moment because it's doing like really, really well. Being sold for under a $5. And these are all the PlayStation Spider-Man games that are available to buy over in Japan. From as little as $5 USD. And don't forget, right? These are all players playing the game. And none of these transactions are actually going to Sony. The people that are making this money is little Timmy and his little bank account. All these copies of Spider-Man are being sold and all that proceeds are going to little Timmy. Nothing goes to thing. So are they now saying that MAUs are a good thing? But it was bad when Microsoft was doing it? Or is it still bad? Or is it only good when Sony does it and not good when... I'm confused. But as you can see, it's a... There's a lot of copies of Spider-Man. And just to put it in another context, a secondhand UK store that I went to personally, when I went to pick up Final Fantasy 13 Trilogy Collection, they had over 60 copies of Spider-Man 2 secondhand in stock. And people were buying them off the shelf, like, and they were telling me they were selling like an average of 10 copies a day. But none of that goes to the actual, to the net sales of what Sony need in order to break even. Nothing. That's all going to the secondhand store. Man, these ponies, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just... They just have no clue what they're talking about, man. And, going back to this IGN thing, it's, I'd really love, I've tagged Destin. I'd really love to see what he actually is going to say. I don't think he's going to say anything because he's not in a position to say anything. But this is why the whole tax thing exists, right? This right here. It's just such a stupid thing to put out there. But it's all for engagement. It's all for clicks. And they are willing to lie to their community in order to get clicks. And even in this position that they're in right now, they are still trying to say that PlayStation had a better year in 2023 when they had one first-party exclusive. That's what was released for Xbox. But I think Nibs will eventually block me. And I probably won't be able to make fun of him anymore because that dude's, I think he's lost it at this point. I provided him with evidence. He's denying the evidence and saying that it's not good enough. You let me know in the comment section below, is the evidence I've provided good enough or not? Let's have that discussion, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell to stay notified of all content I release. And of course, if you want to support me further, you can do that through my Patreon, YouTube membership, and of course the super thanks. Thanks for all your support. Until the next one, remain legend.